TIFU by discovering my deceased mother's Kindle library. Obligatory, this happened a few years ago. My delightful wife only reminded me of this yesterday by forwarding the photos. No, not those sort of photos, you filthy-minded swine. It did, however, require copious amounts of eye bleach. Setting the scene, I, 36M at the time, and my older sibling, 41F, were working through our recently deceased mother's, 74F, possessions in order to clear her house. We stumbled upon her Kindle during our room cleanups, and my sister came out with the fatal line. Or, she used to love reading. No, she's bought tons of books from Amazon over the years. I wonder what she's read recently. Blithely, I opened up my mother's Kindle library and, well, for those who can't be bothered to open the photos, they are a small sample of the titles she had purchased. I snapped these photos in a moment of insanity but felt the need to keep some sort of evidence. Diapered for pay and breeding my sleeping wife are particular gems. However, hot cooking spanker takes on a new dimension when you consider her former occupation as a chef. Suffice to say, the expression on my face made my sister grab it out of my hands. Turning bright red, she muttered, "I knew I shouldn't have introduced her to 50 Shades." TLDR, found deceased mother's Kindle. Discovered her late life sexual awakening. Not enough mental and eye bleach in the world sufficient. Edited to add a couple of points. Thank you for the awards, and thank you also for those pointing out the This American Life piece on. I'm thinking of tracking this guy down and starting a support group. That is not me. Today is the first day I've heard of that site. In fact, I'll grant our stories are similar, although this was direct on my mother's Kindle and not via a shared account. I am also British like the chap in the story, which is why this evokes a level of cringe beyond what you might normally expect. We, and certainly folk of that generation, do not discuss sex, as a rule. Lastly, I fully appreciate that yes, my mother had sex like any other person. It's more the somewhat unusual choice of content consumption at her advanced age which was slightly eyebrow raising. Still, if it got her pulse racing, good for her. Me, oh, like 10 pieces of smut, what's the harm? She was wild like all of us. C's showing 992 items. Also me, damn grandma. Man, if my kids ever post my porn collection on Reddit after I'm dead, I swear I'll fucking haunt them. Well, fixing computers for a living, I can tell you that there is not a single lovely old couple anymore that I can look straight in the eyes, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. If anything, it doesn't seem too bad. Is there any way to warn someone about this? My computer needs file recovery, but the files I need recovered professionally include the erotic of my spouse, and I write for money. I look like a straight-edge Boy Scout. Can I just be like, listen, don't look too closely at the words, or should I blatantly say there's alien porn? Be careful. Something similar happened to me. My grandma was slowly withering away and my mum, her daughter, found what my grandma had been writing. Erotic fiction. Are you sure it was fiction? I have had residents in the assisted living facility I worked at have found themselves. No matter what age you are, you still have sexual desire. That's the beauty of a Kindle. She was probably reading this in front of you at some point in time. I think you just added another dose of that eye bleach to op. D. My grandmother used to talk about how nice she was in high school. She told us that she had such a great body, so the nice and fun thing to do was to share it with all the boys. She used to ask female members of the family, the ones over 18, if they liked giving blowjobs and tell them how much she enjoyed doing it. She and my grandfather had multiple stories about skinny dipping at their lake house, once even locking themselves out of the house and my grandmother walking, naked, in search of a phone. When she died, we weren't super surprised to find her porn VHS that they would watch. Not they were stars in, but we were surprised how much levity it brought to the situation. Of course, we watched it and made offhand comments. Eventually, we stumbled upon her vibrator and a couple other items as well, which we wrapped up tightly, took to the mortuary, and told them it was a bag full of sentimental items and to please bury them with her. Moral of the story, maybe your mom was always like this, just not as vocal about it. Edit, oops, this got more popular than I thought it would. I was just wanted to give up a chuckle. This is an awesome story and I'm glad you shared it, but one question, did you really have your grandma buried with her dildos? TIFU by trusting a cheap Chinese toy to do my business, NSFW. This is a throwaway. My fuck up is far too extreme to put on my main account, and you'll learn why quickly. This happened about 30 minutes ago. I am currently sitting in the hospital, alone, feeling defeated. I have done this to myself. So I'll start with some backstory. I'm a closeted gay 18-year-old boy living with his parents. I'm in high school, but just got off for Christmas break. About a month ago, I was scrolling through Wish, that shopping app where everything is insanely cheap, to see if I could find any funny gifts to get my family for Christmas. Oh, lots and lots of sex toys kept popping up. I had never purchased one, and since they were so cheap, I figured why the hell not? It was a small dildo. It took about 3 weeks to arrive, which was actually earlier than expected. I wasn't surprised, since most of my past orders from Wish came sporadically. I opened it up and it reeked of a chemical odor. I expected there to be some smell, assuming that it was made out of silicone, but damn did it smell awful. I took a shower that day and decided to clean it thoroughly while I was in there. The smell never completely went away, but it got less pungent. When I got back to my room, I started searching for a good place to hide it. My room has endless nooks and crannies to hide things in, so it wasn't really an issue. I placed it in a shoebox in the corner of my closet and left it there. Fast forward to today. I had completely forgotten about the dildo because school had me constantly busy and worried about a million different things at all times. But now it was Saturday, Christmas break, and a ton of free time on my hands. I was laying in bed on my phone and randomly remembered about it, so I decided I would finally use it tonight. The night rolls around, and both my parents went to sleep. Perfect. I went in my closet, pulled out the dildo, and pulled up some porn on my computer. It was all going well for about 30 minutes, until I felt an itch coming from inside my butthole. Pulled it out, looked at it, and there were ants crawling out of the dildo's pee hole. The makers of the dildo thought it would be a good idea to put an actual hole in the dildo for some godforsaken reason. I didn't know how to react, so I just sat there, staring at it for a good 30 seconds. After my brain processed what the fuck had just happened, I ran to the bathroom and sat on the toilet. I tried to push, but nothing felt like it was coming out. I kept trying for a couple minutes, but still nothing. So I finally stood up, bent down to flush the toilet, and saw at least 50 ants just chilling in the water. I was mortified. I could still feel that itch in my butt, so I decided I needed to go to the hospital. I didn't want any ants crawling up my goddamn rectum. I wasn't about to tell my parents what happened, so in my frantic state I just left, got in my car, and went to the hospital. So here we are. Can definitely say telling the doctor what happened is the most embarrassing thing I have ever had to do. I'm writing this here because I need to tell someone what happened. My parents are at home, sound asleep, probably dreaming about me leaving for college. I don't know what I'll do when they wake up. I don't know how long I'll be here. I don't really know what the hell happens after this. Fuck me. TL, doctor, used a cheap Chinese dildo. Put it in my closet. Ants invaded it like suburban moms invading the hand sanitizers at Bath and Body Works. Used it. Ants up the ass. Chilling at hospital. Edit. The long-awaited update is here. Doctor walks in. I heard you have some ants in your pants. Chuckles at dad joke. Actually they're in my ass. Underscore. Just to make sure, when your parents wake up and come looking for you, they will find the dildo in your room, forgotten in your panic, with ants still crawling in and out of it. This wasn't the reason I put condoms on my sex toys, but it sure as hell is now. Ah yes, the old ant farm dildo. Hey, could have been worse, could have been spiders. I honestly thought the chemicals were gonna be it. Fuck me. I'd have considered it, except I don't want your ass ants to interfere with my dickroaches. Cockroaches? TIFU by forgetting W in the phonetic alphabet. This didn't happen today, but about a week ago. Names have been changed. I work for the pathology department of a major medical facility. A physician requested a send-out test to a lab for NGS testing, but their order form had more tests than they wanted. A pathologist and I let the doctor know that we can actually perform the other tests here at the facility and we can have NGS done at the outside lab. So after getting written confirmation, I amended their order form and called the facility to let them know we will only do NGS testing with them, but the other tests will be done in-house. Here is where I fuck up. While on the phone with the lab I confirm the patient's information with their name and DOB, but they were having trouble finding them, so they asked me to confirm the last name phonetically to make sure it's correct. I've been using the phonetic alphabet for 10 years now, so I'm very familiar with it. Patient's last name is Dawn, Delta Alpha Luigi. I lost all composure and began laughing uncontrollably. All co-workers within earshot immediately lost it as they didn't expect this out of me. Person on the other line said yes, W like whiskey, and moved on, but I just wanted the call to end. I couldn't stop giggling, and after we finished the call and hung up I left the office to laugh. TL, doctor, I forgot that W equals whiskey in the phonetic alphabet, so I panicked and improvised. Edit, grammar corrections/suggestions. I wasn't an English major. It could have been worse. I used to work IT, and once I heard a tech use Hitler as the phonetic for H. I work IT. I used pneumonia for P. Private pilot here, and I've definitely done this on the radio before or getting a weather briefing early in the morning. I have never come up with a creative replacement like Waluigi though. That's amazing. I've heard information unicorn, request lol. I had a co-worker do this once on the phone. She couldn't think of F, and she blurted out triple times F frog, and I spit my drink out laughing. She cried. He literally cried. It's been 20 years and I have not forgotten this. Waluigi Tango Foxtrot. When I was working in a call center, I was trying to say whiskey Yankee and it came out wanky. Both myself and the customer just shouted Yankee, Yankee at each other whilst hysterically laughing. I was very glad that that call was never reviewed. Oh, it was, but your manager also died laughing and knew they couldn't keep a straight face listening to that one on a review, so it was forgotten.